Tonight, 2 of this year's Oscar nominees for Best Actor. She is an international action superstar, and he, well, let's just say, Elvis is in the building. Calm down, everyone. Let's start the show. You are all so welcome to the show. We have got some great guests for you tonight. Actors, dancers, singers. Basically the only 3 professions that aren't on strike right now. On Wednesday, it was the turn of the teachers. There they are. Apparently, they stopped at 3 o'clock on the dot. Well, otherwise, it's just their own time they're wasting. And in royal news, supporters of Prince Andrew, right, tried to prove he couldn't have had sex in a bath with the woman who sued him because the bath wasn't big enough. So you ask yourself, well, how? How did they prove the bath wasn't big enough for 2 people? Well, what they did was they took a photograph of the bath with 2 people in it. I'm not making this up. You know it's Andrew because he's down the tap end. He's a gentleman. Was a good idea. I tell you who it probably was. It was probably the same person who told Andrew, go on, do that interview with Emily Maitlis. What's the worst that can happen, hey? Hey, let's get some guests on! Later, we'll have music from breakout singing star Webb. But first, he's the head of the UK's hottest dance troupe diversity. It's Banjo! Scott, who starred in Dunkirk, Mary, Queen of Scots, and the hit spy drama Slow Horses. It's Jack Lowden, everybody! Hello. You ready? You done it? Yeah. There you go. He's gone from teen heartthrob to a Hollywood star, now hoping for Oscar glory for his turn as the king in Baz Luhrmann's Elvis. It's Austin Butler, everybody! Vying for an Oscar this year. She's the star of Tomorrow Never Dies, Crazy Rich Asians, and the iconic Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It is a pleasure to welcome the great Michelle Yeoh! Sit down. Oh, lovely to see you all. Now, Ashley, you've been on the show before, but never the sofa.
No, the first time on the sofa. We're all close.
OK, yeah, all right. Back off. And, but it's the first time welcome to everybody else.
Yeah.
Jack, Austin, Michelle. But presumably, Austin and Michelle, have you been meeting each other at all the kind of award shows and get-togethers and things like that?
I keep seeing him on the stage.
I see
Elvis, oh my God, it's Austin.
Oh, so is this the first time meeting?
This is the first time we're meeting.
Oh, well, you'll have to say hello at the Oscars now that you know each other.
Well, yes, hopefully we'll say hello.
Yeah.
We'll do more than that, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, because...
God, you're good. Okay. We've got a good audience here.
Actually, Banjo, this is a lovely thing. Michelle Yeoh, apparently very formative for you as a younger man.
Yeah, I am so starstruck right now. Honestly, like, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was one of my favourite movies growing up, if not my favourite movie, and it got me in trouble so much because me and my brother used to try and float around the front room and we broke everything trying to imitate that movie. But honestly, just my love of the choreography and the sequences and the sort of just the movement quality in general. Obviously, even though I'm a dancer, it translated to me and it was hugely inspiring. So it's a pleasure to meet you, honestly.
Well, happy to meet you.
The nation thanks you. And Austin, because of being in Elvis, presumably you can never go on a dance floor again because people will just be, here he goes, have a look.
Yeah, I watch a lot when dance floors are happening.
You'll get past it, though. You'll get back on a dance floor, won't you?
Well, I mean, I'm going to take some lessons with you, and then I'll do a couple different dance moves. Yeah.
I want some lessons with you.
I never danced before. I was so self-conscious. So it's opened up a lot. Now I find a lot of joy when I listen to music in a way that I didn't before.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're alone, do you dance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's we're happy
or if I'm at a party where nobody has cell phones.
Ah.
That's where I'll dance.
One of those good parties. What's that about? Jack Lowden, you know I'm a big fan of slow horses.
Oh, yeah.
Love slow horses. Yeah. Is it true that the scripts for slow horses kind of freaked you out because you kind of thought, I'm going to have to get fit for this?
Yeah, in a way, because, well, there was a specific word that was used to describe what would be expected of me, which was the word to vault.
Okay.
And because it seemed that my character would never... He never just, like, ran and sort of got his way over something. He always vaulted in, like, a very... It just sounded a lot sexier than sort of jumped or got over or something like that. So I got really sort of quite terrified by that. So whenever I was out walking or anything like that, I'd double-check that everybody was out the way if there was a fence, and I'd vault it. And then vault it again and go, I'm happy with that one. Again, because it was quite scary because there was, like, ticket barriers, there's everything. He just seems to vault everywhere, my character.
And he runs, but he does running as well, a lot of running.
A lot of running, and I was told very quickly that my running was awful, or below par. It was very sort of expressive, is how I'd probably describe it, so I had to tighten it up quite a lot.
Did you get the Tom Cruise arms?
Yes, it sounds like you get a pair of them in practice. No, well, the first director was about the same height as Tom, so, like, it was very sort of, like... It was very easy for him to be tight, whereas when you're long and tall...
Yeah, it's hard to be tight.
It's hard, yeah. Although I bet you're very good at being tight.
If you've just tuned in...
So that doesn't mean he's cheap. That doesn't mean he's cheap.
Let's move on. Listen, lots to talk about tonight, so let's start with Michelle Yeoh's extraordinary film, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. It's available on... Yeah. If you haven't seen it, you must. It's available on Prime Video, but it will be returning to the big screens in cinemas later in the month. Have all of you guys seen this film?
Oh, yeah.
It's...
Okay, I don't have to throw you out.
Often, when I interview someone, I ask them to, describe the plot of their movie, and I feel a bit sorry for actors. But this, I mean, good luck, Michelle. What's this about?
It's almost impossible to describe. Can you imagine when you first received the script? You're like, please tell me these two boys are not certifiably insane. It's one of the most... You know how we always ask for an original script? Come on, be bold, be original. And then when you start reading and you go, hot dog fingers, rock that cocktail, okay, butt plugs, you're like, what the hell? And it just keeps
I said
going.
Original.
Yeah, we did say original. But what it was beyond the wackiness and everything, the core of the story really was about family. And what I loved about it was a very ordinary, aging immigrant mother, wife, who was facing all the problems that they have to deal with day to day. You know, they thought they came for the American dream, but... right? Yeah. So then... but they allowed her to be a superhero. They allowed this ordinary woman that you walk past in the supermarket, you wouldn't give her a second glance or even look at her. But she could be a superhero. She had the potential, just as a mother, just as a wife. And the most important thing, we all have that superpower, which is kindness, compassion, and love. And what really struck with me was she was trying to tell her daughter, regardless of how messy or how you think you are not doing well, whatever you are is enough for me. And in whatever universe, I will keep looking for you. So it resounded in so many people. And it resounded with so many different generations as well.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we've got a clip. This is you as Evelyn kicking some bad guy ass.
Go.
What happened? I think they lost their powers.
So good.
That young man, Andy Lay, and his brother, the other one, the big one with the butt plug, they are self-taught. They taught themselves martial arts. Watching my movies. Because I look at some of their movements, I go, they look kind of familiar. It's like, yeah, I took it from your film. Okay.
But also, we should say, if you haven't seen the film, the butt plugs are awards.
Oh, yeah.
They're like...
They're serious awards.
There it is.
She got like 3 of them. I mean, when you first see them, you're like, oh, no.
And that guy, he has to... He's about to land on it.
God.
We're not seeing the next bit.
I lost it that day. I was on the ground. I was like, I can't believe I've spent my years training as what I thought to be a good actor, and this is what I end up with.
Being upstaged by Butler.
I had to pull them out, okay?
And there's multiverses in the film, and in a film about multiverses, there was a world where Jackie Chan was going to make this film.
Yes. Wow. No. Okay, to be fair to the Daniels, and you know when you start out to write a movie or to do a movie, it is show business, right? It's about a business sense. And constantly, it's the guys dun, 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 that goes out to save the world. And then as you get older and the roles get smaller, the boxes get tighter. So they did. They went to China to meet with Jackie, and, you know, Jackie texted me and said, you know, congratulations for your movie, but did you know your boys came to see me first? I'm like, oh.
That doesn't seem needed.
No, it's okay. We're great friends. I'm like, you're lost, bro. Thank you. Oh, God.
Because you have known Jackie for a long time.
Yes, my first gig in Hong Kong was with Jackie. And then we did Super Cop together.
Now, because I want to talk about Super Cop, because did everyone back then, when you made films there, did everyone do their own stunts?
No, not everyone are crazy like us.
but you, I don't know about crazy, but you do appear to be fearless. I mean, we've got a clip here, and it's from Super Cop, the movie with Jackie Chan, and watching it, you might think, oh, there's some camera trickery going on there, but it is you on the motorbike throughout.
I think you can see.
Watch. Okay, so this is all Michelle Yeoh. I mean...
I know.
Because there's no way that didn't hurt a lot.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
It's a metal train. I mean, you fell on... I mean, that's... Yeah.
You know, when you're on that rush, you don't feel anything. You really, you just go at it, because you hear the word action and you are so focused. This is what you have to do. When I learned to ride the motorcycle, I can't stop it. I can't like go and pose, because I'm literally on tiptoe, because the suspension is so high to take on all the bumps.
Yeah.
How I often get off is like and I throw the bike away. So throwing the bike away was the easy part.
That was parking. Yeah.
Did you ride motorcycles before?
No.
Wow.
I rode like a little moped back in Malaysia, but nothing like this. Incredible. So I learned. Because in Hong Kong at that time, we had no rehearsal time. You know, we would get dressed, we would get on set. They are choreographing the scene or the action sequence. You watch, you learn, and you shoot right away. Yeah. And that was another scene where I could have broken my neck, because I rolled off a van onto Jackie's car, and the glass was supposed to break, and he would have been able to get hold of me. It didn't, so I slid off the car. And I remember sitting there in the tarmac in a bump, But going in my head, what had happened? How did I not get it right?
You hit the road.
I hit the road. Right?
Yeah.
I hit the bumper of the car. I
Spoiler
slid
alert, she
up.
survived. Ashley's going, wow, you must have died. No, she's fine, Ashley. She's here. She's here.
Okay.
And Michelle, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, it's this amazing thing. It's kind of, you know, suddenly everyone's talking about Michelle Yeoh. But what's so great is you're sharing it with the rest of the cast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no movie without the rest of the cast. I don't believe...
No, but normally they don't all get nominated. That's what's so great.
That is true. We really worked for it because we felt that it was an ensemble.
Ah.
It's like there's no joy without Raymond and, you know, and my hot dog lover, Jamie. Perfect family. What can I say?
If you were to win, will you get butt plug in your acceptance speech? Like, because, I don't think that'll ever
I
have
won't butt plug myself. I might butt plug the I will never do that.
Well, I'm so glad the movie's found an audience. Everything Everywhere All at Once. And Michelle, good luck at the Oscars. Yeah.
Thank you. And you too.
Woo-hoo. So, Austin Butler is Elvis Presley in Baz Luhrmann's latest visual spectacle. It's called Elvis. If you haven't been lucky enough to see this yet, you must. It is available on DVD, Blu-ray and digital download. Before we talk about it, here's a taste of Elvis in action.
Ooh.
Now would be a good time to get back into the car. Get my boy off that stage!
You guys you've seen this, definitely, haven't you?
Yeah, it's just insane.
Yeah.
I haven't seen.
I just fast forward to Austin.
Now you can, yeah. And we saw Tom Hanks there playing Elvis's manager, Colonel Tom Parker.
What a legend.
But this is your first big role as a very experienced actor. Did he feel responsibility to you, or did you just go, this is your moment, you go, you shine?
Well, I had no idea what it was going to be like. You know, whenever you meet somebody that you admired for a long time, you hope that they're going to be warm to you, but you never really know. And somebody like Tom, you know, he's been doing this for so long, and he's such a master of his craft. And so I was intimidated. And then the first time that I met him, Baz had this little house in Australia with along this riverbank. And so I came, and I knew I was going to be meeting Tom for the first time. And I walked through the house and see Tom and Baz down by the river. And I come walking up, and Tom turns around and he sees me, and he goes, "My boy, give me a hug." And he gives me the biggest bear hug.
Oh, my God.
And then Baz said, "You know, let me give you guys a moment." And so Baz went into the house, and Tom and I just talked for so long. And at one point he said, "You know, I was at the studio earlier today, and I was choosing which doors I was going to throw up outside of for the first couple weeks." And I said, "Well, why, are you nervous?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I'm so nervous." I said, "You're nervous? I'm terrified." And he goes, "And nobody knows what Colonel Parker sounds like. Everyone knows what Elvis sounds like." So suddenly we were colleagues, you know? We were both being able to share in our fear and in our, you know, we were joined in that way.
And I heard you talking about, I think it was quite early on in the process, where you kind of connected to Elvis through your mothers.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was the thing, you know, when you approach somebody like Elvis Presley, he's so much larger than life, you know, and he's either a Halloween costume in certain people's minds, or you have people who go to the house that he was born in and they kiss the floor when they come inside. So he almost becomes raised to the level of a deity in certain people's minds. But for me, I knew that I needed to find the humanity in him. So I was really, when I started doing research, just trying to find whatever key it was into who he was as a human being. And I was watching a documentary where I learned that his mom passed away when he was 23. And I was 23 when my mom died. And so it was, suddenly in that moment, he ceased being this icon, Elvis Presley, and I knew what it felt like at that age to lose your best friend, to lose your mother.
Yeah.
And so that was the first key in, you know.
And anyone who's seen the movie, I don't know how many of you have, will know that you leave this movie feeling like you've seen Elvis in concert. Yeah. It's just, I've never seen anything like it. And I remember when I talked to you just for Cannes, the Elvis voice was still very present in your voice. Yeah. And people have talked about that. But I think there's a lot less of it now.
I'm glad you say that. I hear it all the time.
So, do you think, will it eventually go... have you tried to get rid of it? Have you gone to a speech therapist or anything?
No, I mean... the thing is...
What did you sound like before?
Yeah.
Well,
like,
I don't know. People pull clips from when I was 17.
Do you talk like that?
and it's really... I mean, to be honest, I really... I heard my publicist told me the other day, you know, people are... I try to stay off social media, so my publicist told me, you know, people are talking about your voice and these sorts of things, and it really made me self-conscious for a second, because I thought, am I being phony? Is this not my voice? And then I thought, no, I'd have to think consciously to not talk how I am right now. But my voice sounds different when I talk to my dog or when I talk to my dad or when I'm here right now. You know, we all have different bits of ourselves that we're releasing. But when I was really questioning it, I thought, okay, for one thing, I'm older now. Maybe sometimes I have a Southern twang, but I don't think this is Southern. If I tried to sound like Elvis, I would sound very different right now.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna... you'd have to pay extra for that. But the other thing is, I think from all the singing, I probably have destroyed my voice a bit. You know, my vocal cords, it's a lot raspier now. Yeah. And so I just trained a lot, you know. I trained a lot, and then it turned out that I ended up doing all the singing for that early stuff. And
it's so good. It's so good. I think people kind of raised eyebrows and went, is it really him? So Baz Luhrmann released this clip of, this is you rehearsing Jailhouse Rock.
Oh, wow.
I'm interested in that moment. So, is that you kind of just channeling Elvis, or how studied is that? Like, you know, even things like the microphone lead and stuff. Is that all watching footage?
Yeah, it's that really tricky. I often call it a tightrope, because you can fall either way. Either you go into just focusing on everything meticulous, like, so that is, you know, the microphone. All that's meant to be that way. But it's so tricky when you. And I was interested in asking you about this. When you're dealing with something that you want to be very specific, but it's got to feel as though it's happening for the first time.
Yeah.
And so there was many times. Thankfully, I had a year and a half to prepare, and so there was many times where it felt completely external. And then you've got to be able to figure out the ways in which it can come from the inside out. Yeah. So it's all about coming back to that, you know.
And Baz Luhrmann, the way he makes films, you know, they're so visually arresting and stunning. So you make the film, and then the first time you see it is in Cannes with an audience.
Yeah.
Was it at all what you expected, or were you shocked by it?
You never know how a film... We were talking about this before. You just never know how a film is going to be received. And so I had no idea. And Baz told me early on, you know, you can never predict the outcome, but what we can do is relish in the process. So the entire time, we just tried to keep our mind off of the fact that anybody would ever see the film, and instead just go for truth every day and just give everything that you had at every moment. And but then there's that moment where you're sitting in the theater and you go, oh, God, we're going to watch this with everybody. And you just hope that you captured something.
Yeah.
And everybody else had seen it, but I waited for Cannes.
Will you ever do that again? It seems like a really dumb idea.
Yeah. I mean, it worked out all right, but it was nerve-wracking. You know? But it was so special, because my dad was there. My dad had never been outside the country before.
Oh, wow.
And he rented a tuxedo, so he had his bow tie. I'm in the Palais with my dad, and it was really surreal. And then you get done, and Guillermo del Toro's there clapping, and it's just those surreal moments that you got to pinch yourself and just be so grateful for.
Well, as an audience member, I think it was all worth it. It is a terrific performance. We wish you the very best of luck at the Oscars. Austin Butler! moving on to Mr. Jack Lowden. Jack brings us The Gold. It kicks off Sunday, the 12th of February at 9 o'clock on BBC One and iPlayer. So this is a true story from the 80s.
Yes.
So who do you play? What's the whole show about?
So it's 1983. It's a true story about the Brinks-Mat robbery, which at that time was the biggest robbery in world history in 1983. And basically, it was 6 guys in a van went into a warehouse, Heathrow, just outside London, and they thought, although this has been disputed, but they thought they were going to get 3 million quid in pesetas.
What are pesetas?
Pesetas is what the Spanish used to have before the European Union.
Okay.
And then...
What does it translate into, 3 million?
3 million pesetas? I don't know. You know,
It was worth stealing.
It's really...
It was worth hiring a van and driving to Heathrow.
Yeah. This is going to make what they actually found, like, it's reduced it somewhat. But what they actually found was 3 tons of pure gold bullion, which was then had a street value of 26 million sterling.
Now that's worth stealing.
Now that,
yeah. Michelle's in the van now. OK.
Hanging outside the van.
But this isn't a spoiler, because it says it right at the beginning of the show, that it was so much gold that lots of it is still kind of in circulation. If you buy gold, it's still there.
Yeah, it's that much gold that they reckon that if you bought a piece of jewellery after 1983, the chances are it would have a piece of this gold in it. Because, and that's what the drama's about, is how they then sort of smelted down the gold, washed the gold, and the sort of tentacles that it spread all the way through London.
And who are you?
I play a character called Kenny Noy, who was what's called a fence, which is not something you vault over.
Good call, that. Yeah. Remember the vaulting?
Yeah, great.
Not the safe vault. It's the...
Another vault.
Oh, nice.
Oh, my God. It's like a multiverse.
Something to do with butt plugs. No. But yeah, no. So a fence is someone who takes stolen goods and sort of turns it into cash, and so that's who I play, the guy that did that. Yeah.
And one of the things I really enjoyed about it is that, yes, it's about the crime, but it's also about the justice system and how differently it treats different people.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was sort of hailed as one of the first major times that blue-collar criminals worked with white-collar criminals. And because it was the 1980s, and I'm told that the 1980s was a daft era.
Don't look at me.
I don't know.
What would I know about it, Jack?
You were in the van?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like a time of sort of everything got a little bit ridiculous. The hair, the clothes, deregulation in the city, all the usual kind of stuff. And so it was a very free time, and sort of anybody could make it. It was believed that. And so this is a look at, even in the criminal world, how that was crossed over into the legitimate world. And so you have a lot of sort of lawyers, and the Docklands in London are believed to be mainly funded by the cash that came from the Brinks, all those high-rise flats. So if you live in one of them, think twice.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got a clip from episode 1, and this is you being approached by the robbers to help get rid of the gold.
She's crazy, Mickey. It's our school. We can do it ourselves. How? How would you do it? Well, we're all villains. We all know fences.
Oh, yeah? Who do you know who could handle that?
A bloke in Basildon, he's got a pawn shop. He owes me a favour.
That's 3 ton of pure gold that you've taken out of the market and brought to a lockup in South London. And now you need to take it out of a lockup in South London and get it back into the market without anyone noticing. There's 2 people in England who know how to do that. And neither of us live in Basildon.
And then there's a butt plug.
Yeah.
I'm sending you one.
Oh, please.
And your accent there's great, and I think we nearly always hear you speak in a version of an English accent. Do you ever get to use your Scottish accent?
No, I very rarely... I very rarely get to use it. And it's not because I want to be Scottish and things, it's just because I want to use my own accent. And I just think you can tap into your, you know, your creativity a lot quicker in your own accent. And I just sort of... but even in real life, I don't... Even, like, when I'm down here, I don't use it as much. And, you know, I've actually gotten bored of having to repeat myself, so I sort of... when I go into a shop now, I purposely try to say... I'll say something purposely whimsical at first. So I'll go in and I'll go, which way does the wind blow? And they'll go, what? And I go, do you do oat milk? And I just sort of, like, see what I can get away with, because they're never going to understand. But yeah, I don't get to use it enough, and it is a nice accent.
So here you are. So Borders Boy makes good, but you don't come from a show business family. Your parents, we must be good about it because they're here. I think your parents are here. Where? Oh, there they are. Hello. Don't worry. Don't worry. Come on. Just saying hello. Just saying hello. So, Mr. Lowden worked in a bank, I think?
Mr. Lowden worked in a bank.
Yeah. And then your mom... It's unclear what your mom did.
Yes, in Hong Kong.
But did your mom work in a zoo?
Not in Hong Kong, right?
Not in Hong Kong. my mum did multiple jobs, yeah, and at one point she worked in Edinburgh Zoo.
OK. Ooh. And what did you think she did in Edinburgh Zoo?
So, so there was this... So my mum worked in Edinburgh Zoo and she was an animal handler. So that's what we were told, me and my brother, when we were youngsters, animal handler, and it sounded very sort of really cool and sort of sexy and sort of Steve Irwin-y. And so my dad took me and my brother there one day, and we thought we were going to see my mum there, you know, sort of like wrangling a lion and, you know, feeding a penguin or two. And we walked past this little table where there was this person in a rhino costume.
What is a rhino costume?
A rhino, like rhino.
Rhino.
Sorry, yes. See, that's the accent thing.
Okay.
in a rhinoceros costume, and she... no, I'm joking. And it was a table, and it was this person going, save the rhino. Save the rhino, handing out things, save the rhino. And we were like that, and then my dad went, there's your mum there. I was like, what? And she went, and you heard behind this big rhino thing, she went, hiya, boys. This big daft rhino.
And Ashley, now, here's the thing. Your mom is your manager.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
She manages...
I like the way everyone went, oh, my God.
Yeah, she manages...
Mom's a badass.
The whole of diversity, yeah.
Wow.
The whole thing?
The whole thing, yeah.
Wow.
She's scary.
Wow. And does she go on tour with you?
She goes on tour. She goes on tour. She's at all the performances, and it is because she was also my first dance teacher as well. So she still comes off, and we could be doing anything. We performed at the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, and she'll come off and she'll pat you on the back and go, "Well done." Timing was out, but well done. Even now, and it's like I trust her more than anybody.
OK.
Yeah.
And, Michelle, your mom, she sounds formidable. So, I love this story. So, you graduate from dance school, you go home to Malaysia, and what has your mother done?
So, as I got home for the holidays, and I was planning to go back to England, then she suddenly looped into this whole thing about, oh, you know, you should go on stage more and you should do this because now you're 21, and when you're not 21 anymore, there are things you can do. And I'm thinking, what on earth is she on about? And then the next thing I knew was my brother. She looped my brother into doing it. She said, yeah, you should try it out. I'm like, what are you guys? She had entered me for Miss Malaysia.
Wow.
She actually signed the form, so technically I'm not legit.
but you would think, oh, terrible thing to do. You won.
Oh my God! Oh, wow. I did it to shut her up because she wouldn't stop about it. So I said, we had a deal. If I do this, you are never going to do something like this again. Yeah.
And what age were you when she insisted on coming on a date with you?
Oh. Now you have to remember, they're very... Moms are very protective, right? For all the right reasons. So, she always went on a date.
Oh, always?
Oh, always. Until I went to England to study. I don't know why she even let me go to England. So when we go on dates, she literally will sit, I'll be here, the guy was here, and, you know, we're 17 or whatever. So one time I was sitting like this, and I suddenly realized, why are there two hands on my leg? So it was his hand on my mom's hand. I know, I was like, he was holding the hand he thought was mine. And then I looked at him and go like, excuse me, guys, what's going on? That's my mom for you. She's
Didn't you have a
adorable.
similar thing, Austin, on date?
No, you do
Yeah,
that.
my mom was protective, but what she did is she
held your
my
hand.
very first kiss, actually.
Oh, no.
Happened in a movie theater. And, but I wasn't allowed to go on dates, so my mom said, you got to bring your stepbrother with you. And so...
How old was he?
I was maybe 12.
Oh, wow.
Something.
You went on a date when you were 12?
He was
Wow.
So we and it was during this film, and so it was, you know, she ended up becoming my girlfriend for about 3 years. But she was sitting here, I was here, yeah, and then my stepbrother, and I just pretended he wasn't there, and then made my move.
And Jack, your mum, does she watch your things? Will she be watching The Gold on Sunday night and texting you feedback?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she'll give me a précis of what can be done better. Yeah.
Well, it's just a reminder, Jack's new drama, The Gold. It starts on BBC One and iPlayer next Sunday, and, of course, you can binge all episodes on iPlayer from then. Jack Lowden, everybody. Very good. Meanwhile, Ashley Banjo is stretching and warming up for the new diversity tour. It's called Supernova. It'll run from October, right, through to April next year. Right, tickets on sale now. That does a lot of dancing. You can tell his mother's the manager. You get out of the house. You keep dancing. Yeah. So, Supernova, so does this show have a theme, or do you know yet?
Not really. I mean, sometimes you have the concepts and the theme off the bat, and sometimes it's a bit more loose. And this one is definitely a bit more loose for me. But the underlying theme is that I feel like me and diversity, like we won maybe 14 years ago now, which feels like...
That seems like yesterday.
It seems like yesterday. I mean, my knees would say otherwise, but genuinely, like, it does feel like yesterday sometimes. And I thought to myself, we are now moving into a new era. We've opened up our first studio. We're going to be teaching more. You know, I've got kids. My brother's got kids. Half of us are dads. And it's like, well, our sort of focus has changed. So this tour, like the idea of a supernova being this kind of large cosmic event, which is like the explosion of a star, but also the beginning of something new. You know, something potentially even more beautiful in a way. So, for me, this tour feels like a really big transitional period, you know, for diversity. And after saying all that, I still don't really know what it's about yet. But I think it's going to be a really special one.
And I'm just struck, you know, when you started, obviously, you know, Perry was little and... Are any of the kind of diversity kids old enough to be in it yet?
Do you know what? They're not far off, and some of them love dancing, some of them are absolutely horrendous, but they come to every show. They come to every show, they're a massive part of the family, and sooner or later, I think that we're actually going to start to see our own kids, like, following the footsteps.
Yeah, and then you can retire.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be good? Well, if my mum can help it.
Listen, we've got a clip to whet people's appetite for diversity going supernova. Crowd went wild. And Ashley, we've seen you now. We've seen you on panels, you know, doing other work, what we call sitting down jobs. So, are you embracing the sitting down jobs, or have you got an exit strategy, I suppose?
I realised this recently, that the recent jobs that I'm doing, they are all sitting down.
Nice, isn't it?
Apart from this tour, yeah, literally. But so I suppose a tour that's like 90 shows long, it honestly, genuinely is frightening. So I would just advise anybody, if you do buy tickets, just come to the earlier shows, and then the later ones, they probably won't be worth coming to. Yeah.
Can you give us a taste of your dancing now?
Give you a taste?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Can I say something? I really want to learn that sidewinder move that you did in that clip.
Oh.
Can you show me it? Can you show me the move? I saw it, and I was like, what is that footwork? You like going side to side, and I was like, if I can learn that from you, that would be...
Oh, jeez. But you got the shoes for it. So, I mean, I can try to...
Right, here we go. There's a step there.
There's a step. I mean, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. Like, boots are hard to do it in, but I mean, you'll be better. You got the shoes, but essentially, it's to the side.
Oh.
See, it's hard on heels because you always lose balance.
Okay.
But essentially, it's.
Oh.
Yeah. You almost lost that arm.
Hold your motion. Nice. That's gonna be in the show.
That's cool.
Nice one.
That's gonna be on the tour.
I know. If you want to see that move and others, go see Diversity on tour in Supernova.
Let's go.
Starting in October. Ashley Banjo, everybody. And Austin Butler. Thank you very much for that. Right, time for music. This breakout pop star is up for Best New Artist at the Brit Awards next week. Here performing her current single, Red Flags, it is Mimi Webb.
Well, the first time we went out, you said you'd never settle down without a doubt. You said your ex still comes around. I found the things around your house, what's that about? Don't take a genius, yeah, I see it. Even my friends hate that I'm with you. A million reasons should be leaving. I need more hands to count all the issues. I keep on running through these red flags. I blame myself cause I know it's bad, but I keep on running through these red flags. I see the signs but I still come back. Keep on running through the way of touching my body, yeah. Listen to nobody, yeah. Nobody can stop me. I keep on running through these red flags. I see the signs but I still come back. So I keep on running. You live at your parents' place. Said you'd never move away. Guess that's okay. The dinner bill I had to pay. Cause with you I like the taste. Just keep the change. Don't take a chance. Yeah, I see it. Even my friends hate that I'm with you. A million reasons should be leaving. I need more hands to count all the issues. I keep on running through these red flags. I blame myself cause I know it's bad, but I keep on running through these red flags. I see the signs but I still come back. Keep on running through the way of touching my body, yeah. Listen to nobody, yeah. Nobody can stop me. I keep on running through these red flags. I see the signs but I still come back. So I keep on running. So I keep on running through these red flags. Through these red flags. I blame myself cause I know it's bad, but I keep on running through these red flags. I see the signs but I still come back. I keep on running through the way of touching my body, yeah. It says to nobody and nobody can stop me. Keep on running through these red flags. I blame myself cause I know it's bad.
Yes! Mimi Webb, everybody! How great was that? I take you to the band. Come on over, Mimi, do! Mimi Webb! Gorgeous. Look at you, you shiny thing. Mimi, this is Ashley. There's Jack. Austin and Michelle. Mimi Webb. Sit yourself down. That was great. Thank you so much for that. It was, wasn't it? It was really good.
This is
for glass of red?
That's for you.
Perfect.
Down in one.
I thought
I just found it there. Wait, anyone drinking this? No, you pre-ordered. So that is off your debut album, which is out on the 3rd of March.
Yeah.
Mimi Webb. Now, the album's called Amelia. Amelia is...
My real name.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I love is a debut album, you kind of think, well, these songs you've been putting together for a while. But there's one song in here you wrote when you were very young.
Yeah.
How young?
Oh, I think I started that, like, the tune, like, the idea when I was, like, 6. We were, like... Me and my family...
Impressive, right? That was good. Good reaction, Michelle.
It was, like, a tune I'd always sing to my parents and stuff, and then they were, like... It was just, like, my kind of, like, rhyme thing I did, and then... Yeah, and then I was like, right, I really want to create and make a song out of that idea that I've just always remembered. So, yeah, so...
I love that you've hung on to it. I'm getting on you.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange. I kept hold of it.
And we must mention you... Well, you're going on tour, but is it all sold out?
Yeah, the UK holds, yeah. It's all
OK. No, you can go abroad. You could do a nice weekend away to Denmark or the Netherlands or something.
Wow. I'll make sure... I think some of my friends are going to come out for some of the shows, so we're going to make sure we make the most of it.
So, debut album, sold-out tour.
Yeah.
It's all going great for you.
Oh.
Good luck with the Brits and the tour and the album. Thank you so much for that performance. Mimi Webb, everybody! Right, that is nearly it. Before we go, just time for a very quick visit to the big red chair. Who's there? Hello.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Lynn.
Lynn, lovely. And where are you from, Lynn?
Surrey.
Surrey. And what do you do in Surrey, Lynn?
I do admin for a broking company.
Admin for a broking company. All right, all right, lovely. And off you go with the story, Lynn.
Big Prince fan, and in 2007, when he did his 21 nights, my husband and I went quite a few times. This one night, we got front row seats. It's fantastic, so I thought, I'd go out, buy myself a brand new dress, got a brand new black tight dress, put it on to go to the concert, realised that I needed to go commando, so went off to the concert, sat in the front row. The security came round just as the show was starting and said, would I like to go up on stage when he invites his guests up on stage to dance with him? Well, obviously, of course I would. So... Up on stage I go, and I'm strutting my funky stuff the best I can, and carried on another 5 minutes until the end of the song, and then toodled off the stage, got back to my seat with my husband, and he had this strange look on his face. And I went, what? That was amazing. He went, I don't know whether to be proud or mortified. Why? He said, I said, I just danced with Prince. He went, yes, but for the last 5 minutes, your dress split and you've been dancing in front of him with your arse hanging out.
Oh, you can walk, Lynn. You're sweet. I mean, I think we're all relieved it was her arse. Yeah. I know. You were just thinking, those big screens at the O2. Poor Lynn. That really is all we've got time for. If you'd like to have a go in the red chair yourself and tell your story, you can contact us via our website, just the very address. Please say a huge thank you to all of my guests tonight. Mimi Webb! Ashley Banjo! Jack Lowden! Austin Butler! And Michelle Yeoh! Join me next week with singer Tom Grennan, dancer Johannes Odibe, acting greats Julianne Moore and Salma Hayek-Pino, and music superstars Shania Twain and Lizzo. I'll see you then. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
The nation has been hooked on crime drama Happy Valley, and I can't believe it's the last one ever this Sunday evening on BBC One. Press red now for all episodes so far on iPlayer. And stay with me next tonight as Michael McIntyre turns the tables on Jonathan Ross in his big show.